The last thing I want to touch on has to do with a headline in today's paper. It says, State House votes to pass Eileen's Law. I read this morning, and I have to tell you, it made me very angry. It passed 198 to 0. And it sounds like a good thing. It's named after Eileen Danino. Based on what I read about this bill that passed the House of Representatives, I doubt very much that it would have made any difference for Eileen Danino because it leaves jail on the table as an option. And Eileen Danino was not in jail for the first time. It was their third time around. Let me share something else. Friday, when we did our tour, I asked our warden about the truancy issue. This should really shock some people. But last year, in 2014, every single person jailed in our county jail for truancy exclusively was a woman, a single mother, where the father had skipped his job, wasn't held responsible, the mother was. Folks, this is the 21st century. What are we accomplishing putting single mothers behind bars? Who's taking care of their children? In some cases, county services. Here's another thing that I learned on that tour. I asked Janine Quigley, when's the last time any legislator from Berks County has visited our jail? Mark Rossi was there. To his credit, he was there because he recently was appointed to the House Judiciary Committee. He contacted our office and said, I'd like to do a tour. We set it up. No one remembers any legislator asking to visit the jail. This bill, named after Eileen Danino, is a sham. It is political window dressing. One comment in here from one of the representatives was the bill needs to be tweaked. No, the bill needs to take prison off the table for truancy. Period. End of story. Prison wasn't designed for single mothers to go into prison because of truancy. How many of you feel safer because Eileen Danino was put behind bars? Maybe you should ask the question, if you don't feel sorry that that's the way we handle truancy in Pennsylvania, then ask the question, how do you feel about footing the bill for people that are accused of truancy, putting them in our jails? Jails were created for people that needed to be separated from society, short-term or long-term. That's what they were created for, not for this. I'm afraid that what this is about is an opportunity for politicians to hold something up in the air and say, look what I did to address a story that was in the newspaper, because I doubt very much they did their homework to find out who Eileen Danino really was and how many times she'd been in prison, and to find out the history, the recent history of who is put into prison for truancy. I'm angry.
Commissioner Leinbach, was she put in jail 3 times for truancy?
Mm-hmm.
The same
Mm-hmm.
thing?
Yeah, and we have that information. It bothers me, and we all have a tendency to do it. We're reactionary. I have a tendency to react. But we need to get facts. We need to look at the real issues. And when we name a bill after someone, how in the name of all that's good, can you name a bill after a woman who died in prison and leave prison on the table as an option? I don't care that you made it a little bit harder to put somebody in prison. That should not be an option. I'll close with this. Several years ago, I read a proverb. And it comes from a passage that some people are familiar with, some may not be. It's Proverbs chapter 31. And many people know it as the Proverbs about the virtuous woman. But the first verse says, the words of King Lemuel, the prophecy his mother taught him. In other words, the King Lemuel's mother said, here's how you govern. And here are two of the verses, and this is amplified. Open your mouth, judge righteously, administer justice for the poor and needy. Open your mouth for the dumb, those unable to speak for themselves, for the rights of all who are left desolate and defenseless. I believe that those of us that are in authority shouldn't be making decisions based on this voting block or that voting block. Sometimes the people we need to help are the ones that don't have any voice. This isn't helping those people without a voice. And I feel very strongly about it. I've sent an email to all 4 of our state senators. I want to note that one of those state senators is quoted in this article as saying she will not vote for this bill in its current form. I'm asking for an opportunity to testify against the current form of this bill before the state Senate votes. This is named after a woman from Berks County that died in a Berks County jail. I'm not willing to let that slide. That's all I have to say.